Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bourbon Bites Whiskey Reviews with an 80s twist. Welcome to another Thursday night live stream. It's been a minute, but I am back. Appreciate y'all sticking with me. It's been a crazy few weeks just with work and life and just in general. So thank you all so much for tuning in, whether you're watching the replay or watching live. Appreciate you guys so much, and I am so excited to be back for another stream. So, happy almost Halloween. I realized that this is, I thought it was going to be my last stream before Halloween, then I realized, wait, Halloween's on a Thursday. So, we're going to be doing another Halloween stream next week. But for now, I thought, let's keep it a little spooky with the theming. Got the colors, you saw the thumbnail. But actually, for next week's stream for Halloween, I was like, what should I do? I should buy a bunch of, what's the scariest thing in whiskey? Flavored whiskeys. I'm thinking for Halloween next week, I'm going to buy a bunch of flavored whiskey for us, and we're going to see which one doesn't make me gag. Because my issue, listen, I have no problem with flavored beverages, but when it comes to whiskey, it's always so sweet. So, yeah, that's next week. But this week we got some good stuff. We're celebrating with some good whiskey, and then we'll get a little bad next week. But I want to say hello to a few folks. Hello, Donnie. About time you got back to streaming. I know, man. Listen, last week I was in New York for New York Comic Con. Got some merch from there. And then was I not live the week before? I don't know, man. It's been kind of screwy lately. But I'm live this week. I'm live next week. I think I'm live the following week, and then I go on a cruise. So it's been crazy, but appreciate y'all sticking with me and not unsubscribing. Fred says, about time you got here. Good to see you, Fred. Brandon, how's it going? Doug, good to see you as well. Unsubscribe. What did I do? Oh, just not for being live? Pumpkin spice. Ooh, is there a pumpkin spice whiskey? Probably, honestly. Brandon says, is that a beanbag behind you? Yes. So those of you that are in my local group know that I'm doing a bit of a little Halloween whiskey get together at my place this weekend. And then I realized I don't have enough seating. So yeah, I got one of those giant floof things. I forget they're called Big Joe's. I don't know. It's huge, but it's super comfortable. So gotta have the seating for when people come over. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We're doing a bit of a little get together. I mean, I've done it at other people's houses, but I've never hosted, so I'm excited for that. Let's see. Whiskey Uncensored, what's up, man? Whoa, you were in New York and didn't say hello? Hey, it was for work. I was there Wednesday through Sunday, and I was in New York City, just downtown, midtown area. So sorry. It was not, didn't have too much free time to do too much outside of just the local area. What's up, Tony? No worries. Welcome in. Brandon as well, and Adam, Gary. Wow, great turnout. I always get worried, right, when you don't go live for a week or two, and you're worried, oh no, people are gonna forget I go live on Thursdays. But glad to be here. So Brandon says dibs. Brandon, unsubscribe for the flavored whiskeys. Hey, it can't be Halloween without a little bit of a, I call this one scary good. Next week's going to be scary bad. That's my prediction so far. But we'll see. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified next Thursday when I go live. Should be a lot of fun. But yes, today we are doing all of these are limited release bourbons, which wasn't necessarily planned. These have all been kind of just sitting waiting for me to review. Some of them are provided me by brands. Some of them were gifts from friends. And some of them I just happened to pick up at the liquor store. So if you saw the thumbnail, you know what we're tasting tonight. But I'm very excited. I've not reviewed any of these on the channel. One I have not tasted at all. So it should be a good time. First of all, let me know what you guys are drinking, whether you're watching live or the replay. Leave it down in the chat. Love to know. I was actually going to grab a pour of something to get started, but then I realized I don't really have anything. Yeah, nah, let's just jump right into it. Brandon said, did you go to K&L today? I need a bottle picked up. I did not. I mean, you could always stop by there on the way to the tasting Saturday. I literally live 5 minutes from K&L, the Culver City one. So, Tony wants to sit on my floof. I will leave it at that. But yeah, so everything we're drinking today is 100 proof plus. Oh, actually, sorry, that's wrong. One of them is 93 proof, but I'm going to save that one for the end, and you'll see why. If you saw the thumbnail, you'll see why. We're going to start with a product that I actually... Which one is in the thumbnail first? Honestly, I kind of want to look at... I organized it in the thumbnail for a reason, and I was like, this is the order I should do for the stream, and then I completely forgot the order of my thumbnail. So here's me stupidly going to my own YouTube channel to see. Okay, got it. Got my order. There we go. All right. So we are starting with this one. This is a brand. My only experience with the brand is their they had a rye whiskey that came out probably last year, I think. Really relatively affordable rye, but I've never had any of their other products. So my history with this brand is very limited. Like I said, I've had the rye. They do have some special releases that have age statements on it. This one does not have an age statement, but this is the Cream of Kentucky Cask Strength Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Now this is the 53.2%. That's the bottle number. This is the summer 2024 release. They're putting this out in batches. I'm not sure how many times a year, but this is summer 2024. Like I said, Cask Strength Bourbon Whiskey. It is bottled at Kentucky Artisan Distillery in Crestwood, Kentucky. The label says double rich, which I think is kind of more of a tagline than anything. But yeah, do you guys like Cream of Kentucky? Have you had it before? Like I said, I've only had the rye, so I have not given a review of this on my channel. Now, this was a release that was distilled under the tutelage, I love that word, of master distiller Jim Rutledge and embodies the pinnacle of craftsmanship. This cask strength release ensures the continuation of our signature double rich flavor promise while maintaining the tradition and excellence that has made Cream of Kentucky a name to remember. So there's not much info. We just know it's cask strength. In terms of where it's distilled, I don't know. Kentucky Artisan Distillery, I know. My understanding is Barton, but I could be wrong. Someone correct me. Someone that knows better. I will say, I do like the label on it. I thought there was going to be some hidden meaning of these hearts, right? Like, I thought, like, does that mean it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old? I don't know. I didn't know that might just be their logo, but I thought there's some hidden meaning there. But there's no additional info on here other than basically what I just read. So we're just going to go for it. We're going to see what I think of this. I know Jim Rutledge has a huge reputation. I'm trying to think of other products I've had from him. I don't remember. Whoa there. No. Oh, are you saying no to Brandon? Yeah, actually, I don't know where Cream of Kentucky is distilled. I don't know. They don't give you any information. It just says bottled. So we're just going to go off of that. Tony said I'm under the tutelage of the Linux cat. I think we all are. We all have a thing or two to learn from Donnie. All right. So, like I said, not super high proof. Being cask strength, it's only 53.2%. So that's pretty. What is that? If I can math in my head, it's 106.4 proof. So not too bad. Let's go ahead and give it a nose. I mean, that's like a, this is a note that I don't I don't think I've ever given because it's not something I eat regularly. But like the white Oreos, like the ones that are like vanilla, they're vanilla, right? But like the white cookie part of it, that's what I'm getting on the nose. It's like I never have in my life bought the white Oreos. Actually, I think my experience with them is all just off-brand version that my grandma probably had at her house. But it kind of reminds me of that white sugary, I don't want to say like sugar cookie, but like that, a little bit toasty, a little bit sugary, vanilla for sure. Brandon says, do they have a low entry proof? Beats me. I don't know. Again, there's no age statement. There is no location of distillation. I could probably find it. I just didn't want to like misquote. Because I mean, there's people that know this very well. I was going to try to go to. There is like one reviewer that I usually trust their sources and their info. Let's see if I can find it. Actually, so this one, they actually says not disclosed. So the guess here is Brown-Forman, possibly. So I said Barton, so I actually never know. Mash bill, again, I see a mash bill written, but I don't know where that's coming from, so I'm not going to quote it. So price point on this, that's actually something worth mentioning. This one actually was up there. I think I paid $85 for it. I was trying to see if there was an official SRP on this one. I'm trying to find another store. This one has it for $95. I think I paid $85, something around there. So it was pretty up there in price. Now that's high for there not being an age statement, but very curious. Donnie says it smells like something I've never bought. I said never bought. It doesn't mean I never had. There's a big difference. I definitely have had them. I just have not bought them. So I can't be like, oh yeah, I have these all the time. Yeah, so. But it's good. It's very vanilla. Not much oak. Not much, yeah, not much beyond just like a vanilla toasty cookie kind of thing. Let's go for a taste though. Cheers. Mmm. Wow. I mean, even though it's not that high of proof, it has the body of a cask strength whiskey. It has, I mean, I say it's not that high proof. It's 106.4, right? That's pretty decently high. But, when you think cask strength, a lot of times you think, 115, 120 or higher, depending on the product. So this, even though it's 106-ish, really has character. It drinks like it is a hefty pour, but it doesn't burn like a hefty pour. That's like, there's a note that I've given on multiple whiskeys on this channel. I always say it tastes like an LE, like a limited edition bourbon. I think a lot of that has to do with how dense and how complex the flavor that's going on is. I do get a bit of that. I do get a bit of that really rich, kind of want to take some time with it, maybe add a few drops of water to it. But yeah, I'm curious for a second sip of this one. Fred says, everything I'm seeing is confirming it's Kentucky Artisan. Cream even has a bottle and bond that's definitely from there. Okay, gotcha. Very cool. Brendan's been curious about their bottle and bond. Yeah, I've not had their bottle and bond. Fred says, I've never had a Kentucky Artisan rye. Heard bad things until what Clifton is saying now. So hold on. Let me backtrack. I was saying the only cream of Kentucky I've ever had was their rye. I had that last year and I reviewed it last year. This is a bourbon. This is the cask strength bourbon. So sorry for the confusion. I was just saying that was my only experience with cream of Kentucky was the rye from last year. This is definitely bourbon. King of Kentucky is Brown Foreman, and this is Cream of Kentucky. Are they related? I don't know. I've never really seen them. This is the first year that I'm seeing, well, last year and this year is the first time I've seen the label Cream of Kentucky out here in Southern California. Tony says, I have the body of a barrel-aged beer, which is what I'm about to crack. Well, this is the barrel of the beer, because beers are pretty slim, a little got that hourglass figure. Barrel, I'm a little more barrel myself. That's really nice. I like that. Now, I think it doesn't, if it were Brown Foreman, I could strongly get behind that rumor or suggestion, only because Brown Foreman, to me, I've always said this, even since Woodford Reserve, especially like their double oaked, Woodford, or like some Brown Foreman products in that flavor profile, in that mash bill, are so, to me, that they always just read well-rounded. Like, I mean, I know like Old Forester is a little bit different. I don't always get that, but when I'm thinking like a Woodford product, I've always considered their products super well-balanced, nothing spiky, no spike in the wood, no spike in the spices. It's just really balanced. Think of it like an orb of a whiskey. So this is what I'm getting on this one. Now, again, I don't know if it's Brown Foreman or not. That's just rumors, but gotcha. Okay, Fred is correct. Not correcting me, but giving me the info that I was missing. When they used to do age statements on their bottles, it was Barton. That's where I kind of had that in my head. There's a chance it might be Brown Foreman. Again, I don't want to spend time speculating because, if they're not going to disclose it, it doesn't necessarily matter. I will just say it does remind me of that well-rounded body of like a Brown Foreman product. I like it. I like the proof. I think it's very drinkable for a cask strength bourbon. I mean, really good flavor. In terms of like, if I were to try to guess, it does not have an age statement. It does taste relatively young. It kind of reminds me of some of the really good, I think like Nulu, like some of their 5 to 6 year old stuff. I know that's Indiana, but it tastes, if I had to make a guess, somewhere in the realm of that age, maybe 5 to 7. I'm just not getting any of the oak, not any of the older, richer, library, leather notes. That's not really there as much. To me, it's very much a, it just doesn't taste very like well aged, which kind of, it's a detriment, right? Like if this is $95, or like I said, I think I paid around 85 or 90. I would like to know more information about it. I would love to know where it's distilled. Even if they can't tell us the distillery, they can at least tell us the town. Let us use our own judgment. Maybe give us an age statement, even if, I would rather them tell me that it's 6 years old than just not give it. Just personal preference when you're paying that much money. And I've said this before, if you're paying for a limited edition bourbon, you're not just the casual drinker. You're someone that actually wants to make an educated decision. You want to know what you're drinking. You want to know where it's from. You want to know the story behind it. That's at least for me. Like if I'm going to pay $100 for a bourbon, I want to know what's the story. What can I tell people when I share it with people? What can I tell them about it? For this one, I don't really know. So I like it, but I just think the price is a bit high. Now, I've not tried their other products. Like I said, they do have some age-dated products like Fred was mentioning that are most likely from Barton. This one, it's solid. I just don't know if I would buy it again for the price. Maybe another release. Like I said, this is the summer 2024 release. Now, Jim Rutledge, of course, iconic name in the industry. I'm not criticizing the taste. It's great. It's the price. The price is the only thing that I can't really get behind being what it is. That's my opinion. It's good. I'd say try it before you buy it for this one. Sean is here. What's up, Sean? Hey, hopefully you got your samples from your Wheel of Whiskey. I sent that out last week, so should have arrived. Let me know if you have any issues or you didn't get them. I sent you a blind flight, so hopefully you had some fun with that. I also sent one out to our good friend. Was it Doug? Did I send you? I think it was Doug, right? Doug was here earlier, but let me know if you guys got your flights. I'd love to hear your results. Brandon says, if you've already said it, but this is a single barrel or a batch. Great question. It says bottle number, so I assume it's a batch. Nothing specific says that, but yeah, it just says bottle number. So I wouldn't assume that it's a single barrel. What happens in the Bourbon Bites chat stays in the Bourbon Bites chats. Well, on YouTube, it lives on. That's the whole point of our Patreon and Hangouts. What happens on the Patreon Hangout stays on the Patreon Hangout. By the way, Discord server, I think you all are already there, but if you're not, I'll drop the link, because why not? I see Brandon tagging saying, where are you? I was coming, okay? I actually, right before I clicked go live, I realized I had only grabbed 2 Glencairns, and I had 4 whiskeys to drink tonight, so that's kind of why I was a little bit late. But there's a Discord server. Again, most of you are already on it. If you're watching the replay, hey, check it out in the chat. Seriously. Great community of friends, and we do things like our movie nights, which we're having tomorrow, by the way. Everyone $5 and up on Patreon gets access to our monthly movie night. This October, we are doing a spooky movie. We are doing Maximum Overdrive. So we normally do movies that I've never seen, right? This one, I have like a faint memory in the back of my head as a child that I think I watched this. I know, I'm pretty sure my dad like really liked this movie. So I have a vague memory of like watching it as a child, maybe on TV, but I've not watched it as an adult. So I'm very excited. So we're watching Maximum Overdrive this Friday night. Get your tickets on Patreon. Basically, just be a $5 supporter. That's your movie ticket every month. We do a screening, and we do that over on Discord. So tune in tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Let's do it. Should be fun. Thank you, Donnie, for reminding people to hit the thumbs up and subscribe and the bell button and all those fun things. All right, y'all ready to move on to our next bourbon? Because I sure am. I do like the Bourbon Kentucky. I just think it's, it's a bit overpriced for what it tastes like. Doug was traveling and has not broken into the ECBP flight. All good. No rush, man. I just want to make sure you got it. And then Sean got his as well. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoy. Can't wait to hear. Let me know. Shoot me a message after you do your tasting. All right. Let's move on to our next bourbon. So I wish I remembered what I picked for this one. I think it was this one. I think it was the Saints Alley. I don't have my thumbnail in front of me, but this is Saints Alley. Now, this is a brand I've only had 2 of their releases before. And my history with this brand is very limited. I actually heard about it when I was in Austin, Texas a couple years ago. I'd met up with a few YouTubers that were there for the Bastards Ball, and they went to. I unfortunately didn't get to go to the Bastards Ball, but people that did go, they said that Saints Alley was their favorite release they tried there. So I had a couple of their releases. I forget what the names were. They were LEs from a couple years back, but I've not bought any of their products since then. So I was super excited to walk into Total Wine and see this one. So this one is Saints Alley White Port and Cognac. Now, Saints Alley is a collaboration with Iron Root Republic, so they make it very clear on the back. It is a blend of Iron Root's distillate and, at least it used to be Iron Root and Indiana. Let me just double check. Yep, distilled in Texas and Indiana. So Iron Root, probably one of my, if not my favorite Texas distillery, one of my favorite Texas distillery. I'm drinking out of order. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Whatever. So this one is, like I said, special edition. I don't know the release date of this. I was trying to find as much info as I could. I do see that it's still available. Like, I don't think it was like super, super limited. Or at least if it was, it had a pretty wide release. I'm seeing reviews of it from. See, the thing is, when I see reviews from last year, here we go. May of this year. Okay, last year they released a special edition that was regular port. This is white port. So white port and cognac. Now we know white port has been pretty popular, especially last year with the Midwinter's Night Dram. That one that was the I forget what that one was called, limited engagement or whatever the like special one was last year. This though, they used that and they put it with some cognac casks. So I'm really really excited to see this one. This one's coming in at 100 proof, and it's only one of 2,400 bottles. So again, I don't know. This obviously wasn't an exclusive for Total Wine because I'm seeing it on the North Carolina ABC website. Non-chill filtered 100 proof, a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys finished in white port and cognac casks. It doesn't have a batch number, just says batch number, and then it says special edition. But yeah, this was, I think I paid $75 for it. You know, about the same as what I paid for that one. The Creamy Kentucky maybe was a little bit more. There is no age statement as far as I'm aware on these releases. But it's a dream collaboration between Chris, the Liquor Hound Trevino, and the Licorice family from Iron Root Republic. So this meticulous blend brings together the spice of MGP's high rye bourbon, Iron Root's award-winning sweet and viscous heirloom corn bourbon, accentuated by the juicy stone fruits of the white port cask and the lingering finish of cognac casks. So very, very cool. Love how transparent they are. I love that they name drop MGP, which, you know, I love transparency. I think a lot of us do. Let's go and get that poured. Now, white port. That's something that I probably have had something in white port cask before. Not the Midwinter's Night Dram. I'm not fortunate enough to get that one. But I feel like I've had it. Wasn't it a Lafroig? Wasn't there a Lafroig that was white port? If I remember correctly. From last year, was it the Cargis? I could be misremembering. Let's see. Let me go back to the chat. I see you guys are judging me for drinking out of order. I apologize. Again, I'm just guessing. I'm winging it here. Donner Pass Whiskey's in the chat. What's up? Good to see you. Stream ruined. Oh, come on, guys. Come on. Stick around. Be nice, Fred. Give him a C-. All right, Brandon. Well, then I'll hide all this whiskey from you when you're here. You can't get access to my whiskey room or my bean bag. Tony says Iron Root and Still Austin are the best in Texas after Crowded Barrel of course. I will say Iron Root and Still Austin are my absolute favorites. I was hesitant to say Iron Root was my favorite. Those Iron Root, Still Austin, and Balcones. I like Balcones because they like to experiment. But like in terms of general, Iron Root and Still Austin, absolutely my favorites. All right. Tony said, did you know that Iron Root got its name by a Texas root saving the cognac industry? By a Texas root saving the cognac industry in France. I don't know, but sure. It was the Cargis. Okay, thank you. Did I say Lagavulin? I'm sorry. I was thinking, I just had the Offerman the other day, so maybe I said Lagavulin, but Lafroig, yes. That was a really good one, but I'm really excited to try it with the bourbon. Now, Texas bourbon, one of my favorite things about Iron Root is like it doesn't have that Texas funk note that I think a lot of distilleries do. Not dissing that note. Like I said, I do love Balcones, which does have that. But this, I think Iron Root and Still Austin don't have that. They just taste like a really solid bourbon. Then when you blend it with some MGP, you know, that's my jam. So on the nose, this is 100 proof, so we're going a little bit down in proof. I will say it's lighter. It's definitely not as bold and rich as that Cream of Kentucky was on first whiff. But they do a double cask finish on this one. So now, I mean like the finishing cask. I was just doing a little bit of reading on their website, but we already know that they're doing a double cask finish. So like I said, this is still available. You can buy it at the distillery for $70. You can order it for pickup. I got mine at Total Wine here in Southern California. Yeah, not too much on the nose, I'll say. It's not a bad note. Little fruity. Definitely not oaky. Again, both of these are kind of lacking that super rich older bourbon note, which I don't necessarily think they are. This one has a little bit more spice though, like apple pie spice or like peach cobbler, like in that realm, like a stewed fruit. It's nice. Let's go for a taste. Cheers. Hmm. That has it. The nose feels like it was holding back a little bit, like it was holding back some of those really intense flavors, but on the palate, they pop. Man, that port, it gives it a juiciness. Like I feel like juicy is like a weird way to say it, but it's like it's not like a cocktail, but it's kind of it's reminiscent of like if you use some like maybe some like tropical fruit bitters like in a tiki. It doesn't taste like a tiki drink. Like it doesn't taste like fruit necessarily, but it tastes like you took like the essence of like a pineapple or something. That's really interesting. I got to go for another sip of that one. Mm. Not too much like on the body of it, like not super hefty, but I think they're really accentuating how good of a finish that is. I mean, cognac cask is something that I've had relatively frequently, but I've not seen cognac combined with something like white port. That's exciting because it's bringing those brighter, crisper, like I said, pear notes that kind of I associate with maybe. I don't know if I associate that with the cognac or the port, but whatever it is, it's influencing this whiskey significantly. Still has that stewed note, a little bit of. I said pineapple earlier, but you know what? It might actually be more of like a. I said like tiki drink. Like I don't want to say sunscreen. That's a weird note, right? But it's like something reminds me of like being at the beach. I mean, it's really sweet. It maybe like coconut cream, like if you're making like your own homemade um pina coladas and you have like that really sweet coconut cream. A little bit of that. This is really desserty. Really good. I mean, man, $70. I think that's a very fair price. Now, I know you're gonna say like, well, you complained about the cream of Kentucky not having an age statement and being not that much more. Cream of Kentucky tastes like a really good, well balanced bourbon, and that's what it is. It doesn't. It's not finished. It's not. Doesn't have something extra to it. Yes, it's cast strength. This though, with that finish, I think it kind of deserves the price point. White port's something you don't ever see. You rarely see, um, on a bourbon at least. I dig that flavor. That is like, I mean, this is like a summer. I don't want to say summer whiskey because we're in the fall now, but like, wish I would have had this over the summer. It's delightful. So far, I have yet to be disappointed by a iron root product. I've only had three, maybe four, but I've at least had three. But every single one of them knocks it out of the park, and they are a little pricey. But like the Saints Alley releases, really, really just blow my mind. I have not had an off one yet, so I do recommend that one. If you don't see this special edition release of Saint Sally, check out the other ones. I think they have one called the Heretic, if I remember correctly. I think that one is regular port. Oh, I don't want to misspeak, but just check it out. You'll probably it stands out pretty well on the shelves. I know Total Wines, at least a lot of the ones I've been to have these, so check it out. I'm a big fan. I think $70 is a very very fair price for that. Banana boat. Yeah, maybe I said like sunscreen, coconut, sunscreen, pineapple, all in that like realm, right? But sunscreen is such a like you don't want whiskey taste like sunscreen, but you all know what I mean. Texas Funk, aka a shit ton of wood. Yeah, I think a lot of it's like over. It tastes over oak, but we know it's not. We know it's aged for a very limited amount of time. It's just such an intense heat that it just extracts those wood notes really really fast. It doesn't taste like a a lot of people say like, oh, you can fake age in Texas. Not necessarily. You can pull out those tannins that you get on an older bourbon. For me, it doesn't replicate an older bourbon. It replicates the color on an old bourbon, but and the tannins on it, but like it does not drink like an older bourbon. It doesn't have the character, but I do like it for what it is. Still Austin. I'm trying to make that out. I definitely did not read. I read the FTM female to male. I'm like, that's not what we're talking about here. Okay. FTM FW for the mother effing win. Did I do that right? Am I hip with the kids now? That's my guess. That's my second guess. Fred says finishing takes time, effort, knowledge, and money. There you go. You hit the nail on the coffin. That's exactly what I'm saying. I've seen some bad finished whiskeys, and yeah, they Iron Root and Saint Sally, the brand, just hasn't disappointed me yet. So definitely, it's a recommendation from me. All right, I was right for that mother effing win. I like it. Not a fan of any Texas whiskey. Change your mind, Brandon. Remind me Saturday. Try it. It's really good. Now this isn't straight Texas whiskey. Okay, it is technically a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys, but it is Texas whiskey mixed with MGP. So a little bit misleading. Still Austin. Do I still have that? Oh, you know what? I killed my Still Austin single barrel from New Orleans Bourbon Fest. Damn, that would have been a good one for you to try, Brandon. If you haven't already tried it. All right, let's keep it moving. We got 2 more whiskeys to try tonight. Tony Joey is here. I assume on another account. Dr. Nick. I don't know who Dr. Nick is, but welcome. All right, we got 2 more whiskeys to try tonight, and then this is the order swap that I messed up. This is a brand new release from our friends at Lux Row Distillery, which are now owned by Ross and Squibb, aka you know the drill, right? But this is their Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It is distilled in Kentucky. This doesn't have too much info on the bottle. We see that it is the master distiller is John E. Pompey. I'm not good with signatures, y'all. But this is the new small batch Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey finished in PX Sherry Casks. So, very, very excited. This is a limited edition release. Let me see if I have the press release here. There we go. Bardstown, Kentucky-based Lux Row Distillers is expanding its Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey family with the release of Lux Row Small Batch PX Sherry Casks Finish. This just came out in September, by the way. This is this is crafted from small batches of 4-year-old ride straight Kentucky bourbon, so the rye mash bill, finished for 6 months in casks that held PX Sherry. So it's 4 years old plus 6 months for those sherry casks. This comes in at 112 proof, 56% ABV. Limited release, just came out exclusively in October. This is a distillery only release, just FYI. So again, it fits the limited edition name. So distillery only. It's only $60 for full size. This is just a sample. $60 for full size bottle. So relatively fair price for a finished. I love PX Sherry. I'm really excited for this one. I've not tried this one. But they're planning to release this nationwide in early 2025. So right now it is distillery only, but try it out. And if you like it, just know it's coming widely early next year. That's exciting. All right. So just to clarify a little bit, so I got it backwards. I always get this backwards. Luxco actually merged with MGP. So it's not like an MGP brand. So let me be clear. Luxco operates as MGP's brands division. So they manage all of MGP's and Luxco's products. So that includes things like Ezra Brooks Rebel, Blood Oath, David Nicholson, Davies County, Limestone Branch, all of that. So they have a lot of stuff under them. Ross and Squibb is their Indiana-based distillery. So I misquoted. But when you're considering all of it, it's Luxco/MGP. So just wanted to get that. Lux Row Distillery is their distillery in Kentucky. I was reading Tony's comment in Kentucky. Wow, okay. Let's see. Brandon said, Donnie, thank you so much. Yes, feel free to join Patreon. If you have any questions about it, let me know. Thank you so much. It's coming widely. Don't forget Everclear on that list. Oh, do they make Everclear? Oh, okay. Good for them. You know, it has. Oh, you're right. Their the innovative and high quality brand portfolio also includes Penelope Bourbon, Everclear, Pearl Vodka, St. Brendan's Irish Cream, The Quiet Man Irish Whiskey, Green Hat Gin, and other well recognized brands. They have a whole gambit of whiskey. But I am a fan of Lux Row. I love what they do. I'm excited. I love PX Sherry. 4 years old, 6 month finish, so relatively young, but $60. You know, not too awful. Let's give it a nose. So I want to reserve judgment. You know, where the last one to me was more of a pear sweetness, like a stewed pears. This is definitely more of like a red fruit, like you would expect from a PX Sherry, right? It's more darker. I'm only hesitating because I feel like I'm not loving the nose on this. I don't think it's bad. but I feel like I'm losing the bourbon a bit. I'm getting those like getting a bit of those red fruit notes, but they're like dried. It's very raisin. It's very raisin. I don't know. Maybe this is another one that like I have to take a sip before I have an opinion on it. So let's go ahead and try the Lux Rose Small Batch Bourbon Whiskey Finish in PX Sherry. Okay, I see why I said what I said. This is very strongly influenced by that PX Sherry. To the point where the first taste I get is like grape. Like to me, this drink's very much like you would kind of like done like a blend, right? Like versus the finish, I think it's taking on a lot of that PX Sherry characteristic. It has a little bit of that tartness that comes with like a fortified wine, right? The bourbon kind of is hidden a little bit. I think that's maybe because it's younger, potentially, and that 6 months of PX Sherry finish. That's a long time for sort of something as intense as PX. I mean, it's good. I love that cherry. I love that grape, but it doesn't necessarily drink like a bourbon. It drinks. What I think makes a really great finished whiskey is the whiskey stands out on its own and it's complemented by the finish. This almost feels a bit like the whiskey is buried by the finish. I think the finish overtakes it just a little bit, and I think that would be alleviated just a bit by maybe just having older whiskey or even finishing a little bit less. I don't know. I'm not a blender. I'm not a distiller. I'm not a finisher. I just think that the PX Sherry is a bit overpowering here. It's good. I like it. I love PX flavor. But if you're someone that doesn't like it, you're not going to like this because the bourbon doesn't shine. Like I said, I do like PX. I am a fan of this. I will probably buy it when it's a wide release just because I love a good PX bourbon. But I really hope that when they release it in early 2025, maybe, just maybe, you're just crossing my fingers, that it comes in a little bit older. Proof is fine. 112 proof is great. I just feel like they're doing a disservice by using a 4-year-old bourbon. Now, maybe that's because Lux Row, maybe that's just all they have right now. I will say I toured Lux Row back in 2019, which was 5 years ago. And at that time, they were housing someone else's barrels. Or they had barrels, but all their releases were from another distillery. So maybe those barrels, I assume that was what, 5 years ago. Maybe that's some of their own juice. I don't have anyone at the distillery to talk to at the moment, but I think this release is a good release. I just think this expression of it, this first one, with it only being about 4 years old, leaves a little something to be desired, is me personally. Sorry, I went on a tangent there. Donald Rance is in the chat. What's up, Donald? Hope to see you in the after party. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Zophir's here as well. Great to see you guys. Hope you're doing well. Independent Joe. Oh my gosh, thank you for dropping. I need to make more merch, dude. I not that I forget about it. It's just like I'm not a graphic designer, and like although now with like AI art, can I do AI art on t-shirts? Is that frowned upon? Because I have a lot of ideas, I just don't have the artistic ability. Okay. Let me think on this a bit more. I don't want to get sued, but I do have some thoughts. I actually think up here. I don't just drink whiskey with this. Let's see. All right. I like that. Again, for $60, I think buy it if you know you like PX Sherry. If you don't really know or you only moderately like it, maybe skip this one. As a fan, I'm a fan. It's very grapey though, a little bit of cherry. A little bit of bubblegum. Like the more I drink it, like it's sweet. I saw a comment, where was it? Fred says, turns out you're doing flavored tonight after all. Apparently. Last one was like coconut pineapple. This one's grape, bubblegum. But no, trust me, next week's going to be all flavored, all nowhere as good as anything we've had tonight. That's all I got to say. Except Fireball. I'm okay with Fireball. Because Fireball knows what it is. It doesn't take itself too seriously. Have y'all seen that, it's like a s'mores flavored whiskey? I've not had it, but I'm thinking if I can find it, that would be a really fun one to do for Halloween. Let me do some digging. I got a week. From now until next week, I have a week. If y'all have suggestions for flavored whiskeys, whether you like them or you think they will be hilarious to watch me try, Post them on Discord. I can't wait to try them for you guys. All right, we got one more whiskey to try tonight. Another one I'm very, very excited to review. This was actually a gift to me by the one and only Adam Free. I don't know if he's still in the chat. He was here a bit earlier. I had the pleasure of visiting him in Kentuck, Tennessee, last month. Wow, was that only last month? Gosh, I feel like feels like ages ago, but at the same time, it's like time is flying by. Anyways, he was very, very kind to give me a bottle of the Old Forester 117 series. Now, this was the limited edition release of Old Forester. They had a few different ones, but this one is the Scotch Cask finish. So I'll read it to you so you don't have to read it there, but this was a December 2023 release. It says, George Garvin Brown was proud of his Scottish heritage. To celebrate these Gaelic roots, this small batch has been uniquely finished in Scotch whiskey casks. These Speyside sourced sherry and wine maturation and finishing casks highlight Old Forester's natural fruit character that is a result of fermentation with the oldest yeast strain in the industry. Now, this was batch number 1 of this. Comes from, of course, Brown-Forman. Proof is 93 proof or 46.5% ABV. So, very excited. It's interesting because a lot of times when you see Scotch casks bourbons, you think Islay, right? This was actually a Speyside cask. So, really excited to see how this does. Now, I have had a little bit of it already, but it's been a minute. So, yeah. So this one, let's see if I have more info on it. I have a tab pulled up here. So this one actually, the 117 series came out in spring of 2021, but this is the December 2023 release. Yeah, not much more beyond what I said. There's some tasting notes and things, but I want to go into it for my own notes, because y'all aren't here to read someone else's tasting notes. You're here to see me make really bad guesses at tasting notes, because you realize that I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just here to drink whiskey. Ooh. Oh, interesting. I do like the nose. Definitely the most unique nose. I mean, I guess don't want to go back to the Oreo cookie one. Cream of Kentucky was a very rich vanilla sweet nose. Lux Row. Oh, sorry, that's not Lux Row. That's the Saint Sally. Saint Sally, a little bit of that pineapple coconut thing going on. Lux Row. It was dark raisins on the nose, but on the palate was definitely grapes. But on the nose of this one, it does have a bit of smokiness. Not quite like peaty. It's just like an ashy kind of smoke. The bourbon is very clear, though. I think it's like a complimentary on the nose of the bourbon. It kind of blends with that. You can tell that this is probably a pretty well-aged bourbon. We don't have an age statement here yet again. But that's really, really nice. That kind of smells like a candle. I like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, man, I'm really, really excited to give this a try on the channel. Let's go. Cheers. Okay. Up front, very Old Forester. Less of like the single barrel, the cask strength Old Foresters that have been coming out on the blue label. A lot of them taste a bit young. This is definitely not that territory. This reminds me, if I were to put a Old Forester product behind it, it kind of reminds me of the 1910, that double oaked one. And I guess they are doing a bit of a double oaking here, aren't they? They're doing the Scotch cask. It has a dark chocolate note. Man, that is the most dark chocolate I've ever gotten on an Old Forester. Yeah, it's really rich. Smokiness is a little less obvious on the palate, definitely more so on the nose. But it's like, yeah, like I said dark chocolate, but it's like dark chocolate. Okay, y'all, I was already thinking about s'mores whiskey earlier, but it kind of does have it's like dark chocolate, but with like a bit of like a toasted marshmallow sweetness. Is this a s'mores whiskey? Is this the better buy versus a s'mores flavored whiskey? Probably. Oh, Adam, you're back. Yeah, I was giving you a shout out and thank you for this bottle. First time I've had it here on the channel, and man, that is good. It's so unique because, like I was saying at the top, it's like usually when you see Scotch cask, you think like, oh, it's like a peated, like an Islay, but this is Speyside. So it doesn't really have some of those like earthy qualities to it. It just has a smoke. It has the smoke and the chocolate, and really complements everything that's great in that. Just the Old Forester in general. Yeah, you say chocolate and creamy. That's what I was thinking. I was like chocolate, but like kind of like that toasted marshmallow thing going on as well. That is delightful. That is amazing. Only 93 proof. Wow, this has the character. Just as good as any of these we've had. And some of them are up to 113, 112 proof. Brandon says Michter's Toasted Rye. So not quite as toasted marshmallow as Michter's Toasted Rye. In the realm though, that's still that sweet vanilla marshmallow note is there. Not to the intensity of the Toasted Rye. Good call. Good call. Fred says you need to do Bites, Bubba's, Pancake, and Bacon Whiskey. That is a lot of words. Oh, I think he meant to say Bourbon Bites. I thought it's called Bites, Bubba's, Pancakes, and Bacon Whiskey. I think it's Bubba's Pancakes and Bacon Whiskey. I will have to seek that out. I think one of the first flavored whiskeys I ever had was Not My Father's. So they have Not My Father's root beer, but they had Not My Father's bourbon, which of course is probably a problem now. But technically it says not bourbon. That was so ridiculously sweet. Oh, I can't. I'm excited, but I'm also like nervous. Donnie's out on the. Oh, what did I say that he wouldn't like? Adam says non-Scotch drinkers were all afraid of it. Oh no, it's not peated at all. It has a little bit of smoky, a little bit of the I guess ashy qualities, but man, it's complimentary. And as I said, I mean, this wasn't meant to be a finished whiskey stream, but I realized 3 of the 4 have been finished. That is, it should be complimentary. It should complement the whiskey. This is the most complimentary of them all. This is my favorite of the night. I mean, what a note to end on. I was saving it because I was worried it'd be a little too smoky, a little too, I thought that was going to kind of overpower, but man, it does, but in a way that like, I want more. Like, I could see it being a little more smoky. Delicious. If you guys get a chance to try this or find it, please pick it up. Now, this is a 375. Is this distillery only, Adam? I'm not sure the details on. I assume, this came out end of last year. Probably sold out by this point. I don't know if you could probably get it. I think it's probably distillery only. The only time I've ever seen it is at the distillery. Ooh, I see a bottle of it on a secondary site for $250. So, unfortunately, it's one of those things that if you missed it, you missed it, I think. And but if you live close to the distillery, check out some of their releases they put out. I know it's kind of like how Woodford does like their double oaked, and they do a lot of really fun distillery only releases. I assume that's how 117 series is working. If I'm misremembering how that works, sorry, not from Kentucky. I live in Southern California, so yeah, I don't know if it's distillery only or not. I was trying to see if I have any info here. Brandon has the 117 bottle and bond bottle. Adam says, for the most part, it's distillery and limited Kentucky release. Gotcha. Okay. I think retail on this one I'm looking at. So retail on this was $60. So it came out, like I said, end of last year. $60 for a 375. Absolutely. This is a fun one. I'm willing to pay a bit more for something that's so limited and so experimental that you just have to try it. So definitely my favorite of the night. I think second, if I were to go through and rank these, that's my favorite. I do really like this, the Saints Alley. That's one that I would absolutely buy a second bottle of. Love the Lux Row. I love the PX, but it's overwhelming. I wish it was older whiskey. Cream of Kentucky is good. It's a great, solid, well-rounded bourbon, but I don't think it's worth the price point. You get a cool label, you get the Jim Rutledge of it all, but there's other bourbons in the market that are a better buy for the money. So Adam said this one was not so popular, so it continued to be released a bunch this year. The distillery, yeah, people see Scotch and they're like, ew. But guys, you gotta open your palate a little bit, open your mind, try it out. Not all Scotch tastes like burnt medical equipment. And that's how I used to think. I used to be so like, I don't like Scotch, but it's a whole wide open world. And I used to be kind of offended when people said like, oh, Scotch has more flavor variety than bourbon. And I was like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. But then like now that I've tried Scotch, I'm like, yeah, they're right. Doesn't mean you have to like it. You could still prefer bourbon, but there's a lot more variety and nuances in Scotch that you're certain to find something that you at least appreciate, even if you don't love it. But that's not the case here. You're drinking bourbon. Let's be clear, this is a bourbon. It is finished in Speyside Scotch casks, but delicious nonetheless. So, I think that does it for this week's stream. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hey, if you're here live, please hit the subscribe and the bell button if you've not yet done it. I go live every Thursday, try to at least. We're doing a Halloween one next Thursday. We're going to do flavored whiskey. It's going to be, I'll make sure to pregame a bit before the stream. It should be a fun time. So even if you're not there for the content, at least come there for the chat and the community. But I will see some of you over on our after party hangout for patrons $10 and up. And I see you guys every week there. If you're curious about Patreon, you have any questions, shoot me a message on Discord, Instagram, wherever you follow me. If you don't follow me, follow me. All my links are on my page. Check it out. Otherwise, if you're in my local group, I'll see you on Saturday. I see Brandon in the chat. The rest of you, I will see you next Thursday on Halloween for maybe, you know what I was saying is like spooky, but honestly, like flavored whiskey is so sweet. It's like candy. Candy should be the theme. Maybe I'll do some pairings. But then like candy's not even going to stand up to the sweetness of flavored whiskey. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But until then, cheers, y'all. I will see y'all next week. And until then, have a very happy and safe Halloween. Enjoy your parties. I'd love to see your costumes. Post them on our Discord. I am dressing up this Saturday. Hopefully you are too, Brandon. Yeah, love to see your kids and your animals. And we have a thing called Drinking Buddies, which is like our little animal channel on our Discord. So I'd love to see if you have a costume for your pet. Please post it because I need cuteness in my life. So cheers, y'all. Have a great week. I will see you on next Thursday. Bye.